Welcome to PsychSessions at ACT 2022. That's STP's annual conference on teaching, where PsychSessions had a booth set up for live recording. I'm Garth Neufeld. We suggest that you listen to these short interviews in order, starting with episode 1, where we explain what this series is. We want to thank all of our guests for their participation, and of course, STP. Now, please enjoy. This is PsychSessions at ACT 2022. I'm here with a new friend, Lanae Arena. I think we met today, right?
We did.
Or was it yesterday?
No, it was today.
Okay. So we've had some great conversations. I feel like I actually have gotten to know you a little bit, which is, it's great. What's your ACT experience like? Like, what do you think of this conference and stuff?
So I've really enjoyed it so far. This is my first conference, and I've learned so much. In the conversations that I've been able to have, I've been introduced to things I've never thought of before.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the depth of conversations and just the passion that I can see from everyone has been really exciting.
Yeah.
And it's been igniting fires in me too, so I'm really excited.
That's what it's supposed to do, right? So how did you get here? Maybe you can just tell us, who do you know who's connected with this organization?
Right, okay, so I started by getting my bachelor's in psychology with Dr. Hallinan. Dr. Jane Hallinan. And so with that, I was her TA and really got excited about psychology and just teaching psychology. And in that, I really realized, wow, this is something I could really enjoy doing and really have a passion for. So I graduated from UWF, and I'm now a master's in mental health counseling student at UWF as well. And Dr. Hallinan pulled me aside and said, hey, I have a really interesting project on students with autism. And I used to work as a behavior therapist for children with autism. So with that, we started the research, and she thought it would be really exciting to present here. So that brought me here.
So you all are presenting together.
Right, yes. So it's part of 2 posters.
Okay.
It's 2 posters for the one study. And one, we surveyed students on the autism spectrum, really to see how their experience has been like in the classroom, especially at the college level. And then my side was on the faculty perspective. So we got to understand, what is your experience like when it comes to teaching students on the spectrum? What are characteristics that you notice? What have you done that has seemed to be helpful and impactful? What have you tried that hasn't been helpful at all? And how supported do you feel by the university? That was really interesting, yes. And also, how informed do you feel on this topic?
Okay.
Yes.
So you're doing this research, and you're also getting you probably want to do counseling eventually, right?
Yes,
you want to be a licensed mental health counselor.
I do.
Do you want to work with children, I'm guessing?
So it's interesting. I actually don't.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
because we've talked a little bit about what you're doing right now and stuff, right? Okay.
Yes. So that's so funny. So I used to be a behavior therapist for children with autism, and right now I work with Guardian Ad Litem as a child advocate manager. But I hope to, after this master's program, I really want to get my doctorate in counseling psychology. Okay. Yes.
You're following somebody in great footsteps.
Isn't
right now.
You're right,
it's hilarious. I love it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
And I feel well supported by her too. So
Good.
Definitely that helps. But yes, so I hope to become a counseling psychologist and use that to inform really my teaching style, because I think it's really important to come from a philosophy of understanding that you've applied these concepts. And I think that really gives students the glue for the rest of the concepts that you throw at them to stick to. So that's something that I'm excited to learn.
Teaching's in your future. That's what you want to do,
Yes,
right?
I hope so. Right,
so,
after that.
Would you be happy seeing some clients, doing some teaching, doing some research? Or what is it the trifecta for you? Or
Yes. Oh, that's such a good question. Thank you for asking. Yes. So my current thought, and I totally understand some of this might change, but my current thought is to first become a therapist, right, as a counseling psychologist, and then start kind of siphoning in some classes that I can start teaching in. So right now I'm UWF's department GA for the psych department.
Okay.
And so I really get to experience mentorship with students and kind of explaining that, and I really, really love that. So I'm thinking maybe siphoning in a few classes that I can start learning the best way to teach students, and then doing research with that as well, which I imagine is in my future with a PhD as well.
So. Awesome.
Yes.
So how long until you're finished your master's degree?
So I'm going into my second year.
Okay.
So I have 2 years left. It's a 3-year program.
It's a 3-year program.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to think quite about like next steps yet, but
Oh,
I bet you
Don't
have.
worry.
Yes,
Don't
of
you
course
worry.
You have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a few other research projects as well, which has been really, so I'm excited to have seen this conference and understand really how it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a conference you'll come to again?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone has been so welcoming and
it's a good
kind.
community.
Yes. And everyone really just wants to listen and wants to understand, especially when it comes to better supporting the students.
Yeah.
So that's what our side of the research was kind of trying to close that resource gap where faculty have an overwhelming desire for, at least what we've seen, for more training and to know the high impact practices for students with autism. And so our attempt is to kind of close that gap. And so I've noticed that faculty come by and they really want to know, like, how can we better support our students?
Yeah.
How can we really aid in their learning? And so that's something that I really love, that atmosphere. And everyone is so welcoming just to take you to their side and talk with you like you. This is a great example.
Yeah. Well, it's been really good to get to know you and the other folks that came up from UWF. I mean, y'all are so impressive. It's unbelievable what the way that you already think about teaching. You've had some good guidance along the way, and you probably worked pretty hard, I'm going to guess.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
And it's exciting to hear that you kind of know, like, what you're doing and where you're going. I'm sure there'll be some,
That's the hope.
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
The hope.
And was it always this for you? This is what you wanted to do?
That's a really good question. So I've been thinking about that more recently. I always knew I wanted to do psychology. Even as a 4-year-old kid, I would walk up to someone and say, like, what's your favorite color? Like, why? And so they would tell me, but why is that your favorite color?
Okay.
Like, what? Why? And everything was why. And so as an adult now, I'm still that way. So I'm thinking, was that the color of your blanket as a kid? So now you feel comforted by it? Is that the color of your mom's eyes? So you think of her? I think of the deeper meaning behind everything.
For sure.
And I really wanted to study something that addressed that deeper meaning of things that we can't see. Because I'm always wanting to better understand it and just really know why. And psychology gave me more answers to those questions, or really more questions actually, with all of the theories.
Sure.
Right. But yes. So with that, I realized, like, I want something that's also I can use in my daily life, even outside of work. So for example, with psychology, if somebody cuts me off while I'm driving and I'm angry at them for cutting me off, I can know that, oh, Lanae, that's the fundamental attribution error. You know, you might cut somebody off and you feel totally fine. Why are you upset with them doing it, for example? Not like I would ever, right? But
no, of course. Yeah, never.
Right. But I love that psychology lets me apply that. And the mental health aspect is really important to me too, because I've seen what happens when someone's mental health isn't taken care of.
Yeah. We definitely bring those experiences and passions into the work, right? That's kind of what kind of like keeps that fire lit to move forward in these areas. Well, hey, congrats. You're super impressive. And and you have like all these things going for you, and I love that you are going to diversify your interests moving forward. So best of
thank you.
I would say luck. I'm going to well wishes for
you.
Everything for your future. And
that.
I hope I do see you at another ACT, maybe in Portland or something next year.
Me too. Are there any other conferences you go to as well?
Yeah. Do you teach intro psych?
Okay, so I don't teach intro psych. I helped develop a online curriculum for intro psych that was completely free. So I created the syllabus and the schedule and activities. So I don't teach it, but I think it's very interesting.
If you do teach in higher education moving forward, there's a reasonable chance it is like such a popular class for students that a lot of faculty teach it in the future. So we actually have a virtual conference in January called Intro Psych Coast to Coast. It's like it's a half day, January 20th, maybe Friday, January 20th. And so it's an online conference. But then there are intro psych conferences. I have one in Seattle every April called Tip Northwest, tipnorthwest.com.
So Dr. Hallinan and I and Kristen Whitlock.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. So
you guys
talked about it before. Yes.
That's right.
So we worked on an article about really the introductory psychology class and how you have people from all walks of life there, people that might not love psychology, people that are kind of just, wanting to figure it out, or some people that are there just because they have to be there. So we wrote an article that's really interesting. I didn't realize that there were conferences specifically for intro psych.
Yeah.
Wow, I bet I could learn a lot.
There's an East Coast in-person conference called Psych 1. Mine's West Coast, but then there's a virtual one now too, specifically for that. There's so many conferences. We'll talk about all the regional conferences too. We'll talk off mic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
hey,
good.
Thanks for doing this.
Yes.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and I'll just say it. Good
Please
luck.
say it.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right. Did you know that Psych Sessions just launched a website? It's at PsychSessions.org. Check it out to see all our series and be sure to sign up for the monthly newsletter. We won't fill your inbox with anything but the best curated content from Psych Sessions and our friends. Thanks for listening.